Hello everyone, how are you doing? Thank you for joining me. Good evening. My name is Zyna Obasi and I'm your host today on The Waiting Room with Zyna. I am the author of this amazing book. This book is Zyna's Waiting Room. It talks about my experience in the waiting room. So if you're joining us for the first time, make sure you get your copy. You can just send us a private message or leave a message either on Facebook or Instagram so we can help you get your copy. I'm so excited to be with you today, and we have, of course, another interesting topic. Meanwhile, thank you for those of you who have been commenting from last week's topic. It's been an amazing one. A lot of people commented, and I want you to do that again today. Please keep the room hot, keep the vibes on, keep typing out what you have understood, keep repeating what you have understood for those who are coming in so they can learn as well, and just have fun with us. Be lively, be part of the event. It's very much fun. If you're on Instagram, please keep typing, keep sharing, keep inviting your friends to come and join. If you're going to watch later on YouTube, do the same. Send the link, subscribe, and then hit that notification button so that you get a notification whenever we are on with another topic. And if you're joining us on Zoom, welcome to those of you who have been very faithfully joining us. Mr. Terry Roy, gift. Terry Roy joined since I think 20 minutes ago. So thank you guys for being here. I am always excited to be with you. Today we're going to have another wonderful time. And for those of you who don't know what this is all about, you're just joining for the first time. What is this program about? Some people ask. The Waiting Room with Zyna is an offshoot of this Zyna's Waiting Room, which talks about my experience in the waiting room. And what is this waiting room? Yes, we're talking about waiting for children. When you get married, you expect to have children in the next 9 months, dedicate your babies and dance, to the altar and thank God and do your naming ceremonies and all of that. But when you wait after a year, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you don't do that, it's really, really, really discouraging. And sometimes it takes you through the dark tunnel. So I went through that for 17 years. It was not funny. It was not easy. While in the waiting room, like I did explain in my book, I had a lot of turbulent experiences. I did get pregnant eventually, but lost my baby at childbirth, and a lot of other horrible experiences I'm not here to talk to you about today. And then that is one thing. Then the other aspect of it is the wait. While you're waiting, the whole experience, the whole issue, the whole discouragement and all that's the one that really gets to you mentally, and it gets you mentally down. So that's what this program is all about. We are here to offer some kind of support for those of you who have not if you're waiting and you have not joined our Telegram chat room, do so. We will start discussing there soon. It's just a place where people can feel loved, feel understood. You don't have to be alone. If you feel alone in your marriage, in your waiting experience, we are here for you. So that's how we want to reach out to you, apart from coming here every week for this program, at least for the first season. So welcome to yet another episode. Today is episode 5 of our waiting room experience. So thank you. I have to have a beautiful topic for you today. It's what are your well-being goals while you're waiting? Like I said in my introduction, waiting takes you through a dark tunnel. And that dark tunnel, if you don't watch it, it attacks your mental, your everything, just not your physical being, your mental being as well. Your spiritual being also. It makes you begin to doubt God in so many cases. And if you don't watch it, you lose it mentally. So how do you intend to keep yourself focused, keep yourself working through that mental well-being and other well-being aspirations that you have? So what are your goals? That's what we are going to talk about today while you are in the waiting room. Do you need That's the number one, and I think this one affects every woman, most of the women I know. I mean, 95% of women are waiting and also in the overweight club like us. So what are your mental and your other well-being goals? Do you want to lose some weight? Here is how weight comes into the waiting room. For me, it happened to me, and I know it happens to a lot of women. Once you start waiting, you go to the hospital. Most of the time you are diagnosed of hormonal imbalance, and when they start giving you those hormonal imbalance drugs, sometimes or most times it makes you add weight as a woman. It makes you add weight, and you can't explain this weight, it just starts coming. If that one does not make you add weight, wait for it. IVF drugs, that's the one that helped me gain much weight. I won't say helped me to add extra flesh that I didn't ask for. So when you're in the waiting room, you are dealing with a lot of things, mentally, emotionally, physically, and this weight will now come and sit. You don't even have the time to exercise most of the time, because if you're going through IVF, you're not supposed to exert yourself. So you are supposed to raise your legs, keep yourself steady and all of that. So before you go through it for 9 months, and sometimes you end up having more than one cycle of IVF before you eventually get the one that works. And while you're going through all of that, some people have gone through 3 or 4 IVFs, still no baby, yet they added weight. So it can be mentally disturbing when you find yourself in a situation like that. So what do you do when you find yourself overweight? What's your goal? You can win that fight, So you can start dieting, you can start exercising. You also need to rest well. For those of us that work through and round the clock, you need to rest. If you are waiting, rest is part of your daily exercise. You need to do that. You need to rest. You need to take time out to rest. You need to sleep well. So you need to exercise, you need to sleep, you need to diet, and you need to move your body. So though you are not expected, if you are under IVF, to do so many of these things, but what would you do if you are in a situation where you find yourself overweight? You have to start from somewhere. So you need to find the one that works for you. So you have to discuss with your doctor, because you're not even expected to do anything without letting your doctor know. So you let them know so you don't put yourself under risk. But if you have such goals, how are you willing to go through that? That's number one. Dieting, losing weight, resting, sleeping, taking walks, and all that. Then number 2 is the mental health, which I think is even more important. When you are waiting, you are in a place in your mental health or in your mental state where you need to be stable. So there are triggers that can affect you, can affect your peace of mind, can affect how you process things. That's why in my book I discuss those triggers, and I try to advise the ones that you can really avoid. For instance, if I find myself in a situation where something is not giving me joy, I extricate myself from that situation, and that is what you need to do. If you are in a turbulent relationship with your partner and you are waiting, it is like double-barrel problem. So you need to find peace in that marriage. If you don't find peace, it's going to affect even the IVF, even the trying, the other aspects that you're looking out for is going to affect it, because you need your peace of mind. So if you're a husband here watching me and your wife is going through IVF, please, this is not the time to upset her. Otherwise you lose your money because all that money you put inside the whole thing, please don't lose it. So shield your sword for now, and try to make this woman very happy, make her experience peace, make her feel loved, because all of those things will play a very big role in the success of the process. So keep her calm, and that is why some men have done some things that people condemn them for, like telling their mothers-in-law or their own mothers or their sisters-in-law or their own sisters to leave the house. And sometimes people think it's an extreme measure, but it's not. If a man feels like you are being hostile to his wife, he can ask you to leave because you are, rocking the home. You're rocking the boat in the home. So if you have such people living with you, maybe an in-law that is not giving you peace, this is not the time to have a such person. You must discuss as a family. Maybe they need to go somewhere else and stay while you finish up with what you're doing. When you are ready for them, they can come back, because right now you need your peace of mind. You need that, mental stability. You understand? So choose what you hear also. That's another thing I advise. Choose what you hear. You don't need to hear everything that's happening. Sometimes people want to come to you and tell you problems and problems. I experienced something like that about 4 months ago. Someone had a very big problem, and I know for sure that I couldn't solve it, but she was looking to share. I was not in a good place to receive such news, because I was also dealing with my own losses that I experienced last year, and I was not in a good place to hear that. So I had to remove myself from that conversation. It wasn't fair on her, but I needed to have my peace of mind. So I later spoke with her, but at the time that she wanted to give me that information, I was not ready to process it. So you must take care of your mental health. It's not everything you want to hear. If there are problems that you cannot solve and people are coming to you and they are going to demoralize you and put you down, that's not the time to deal with it. If you have a lot of problems already, some people are carrying problems of this waiting room, and then at the office they have issues, or in their businesses or careers they have problems that they're trying to solve. Now you come and put family problem on top. The girlfriend has problem, wants to share. The people in the church want to give problem. The people in the mosque want to come and count. So everybody's just bringing problem all over the place. Choose the one you want to hear, because all of these things are going to the same place, up there. And when they get into your head, you are not able to process everything. So choose your battles, as some people will say. Pick the one that you can deal with, and focus on that one and deal with them one after the other. So choose what you hear. Choose who you hang out with. Sometimes people feel because you have a problem, you should just be a chatterbox. And some people take offense when you don't open up according to them. Open up to them. Because one thing, people judge you when you're waiting. There are no two ways about it. Once they know you are in the waiting room, they have their big judgment book like this they've written, and none of these things is true. They just think that they might be true. So when people judge you like that, you want to go and how will I put it now, try to change their minds about you and stuff like that. That's not your job. Because when someone comes to you and starts talking to you out of the blues about their own issues, they just want you to give them one or two information. Because first of all, they've judged you as a woman. Maybe you've had so many miscarriages. Maybe somebody has told them about how you lived your life, so to say, and then they are putting one and two together. Maybe she did this, maybe she did that, maybe she used to go out a lot, maybe she used to club, all those kind of things. They just put them together. That's probably why she's waiting. And then you too, you want to go and join them. No. You don't owe anybody any explanation about your life. Someday, one woman came to me very early in the morning and just walked into my house and was... I felt... After she left, I just understood what she did. It was as if she wanted to hear me say something, but she needed to tell me something so I could feel comfortable. Some people do that. So I could feel comfortable to share. So she already had her mind made up on what she felt my problems were, as at that time, why I was waiting. So she came to me and she was telling me how she had so many abortions, about 6 she said, when she was in school, and even at that, God still had mercy on her and gave her children, that I should worry no matter what it was. I was like, wow. And so I quickly told her, well, I didn't have. If I had, I would not still come and discuss it with anybody. It's not your business. But the truth was, I didn't have. And there are people who did not have, and there are people who had and still have their children. So it has nothing to do with what I was dealing with at the time. But the way she came at me, It was like so that I could feel free to tell her all the things I've done, so that she will comfort me and tell me if God had mercy on her, He would have mercy on me, and stuff like that. So be careful who you share and what you share with, because if someone is not there to help you or to offer solution to your problem, what are they looking for your problems for, except to just add it to more talks? And when they talk, you will hear, then you add it to your mental wahala, and then you deal with more problems. So you can cut all of that out and choose the conversations you have with people, choose who you hang out with, choose what you tell them, and who you let in. Choose who you let in into your private life. It's your choice. I heard a lady that her mother-in-law used to I hope the woman is still not doing this, and I pray she would watch. I don't know. So every month the mother-in-law will call her and calculate her period. Calculate her period for her, tell her her ovulation cycle, what day is going to start, and on the morning of that day she would call her and ask her, what are you doing? Where are you? Are you ready? This is your mother-in-law. It's not her mom. She will call and put a lot of pressure on her. Do your job. You're a woman. Do your job as a woman. And then in the evening, and when she has put all this pressure on the woman, what do you think the woman will do? She will carry the pressure plus the annoyance and the anger and throw it on her son, who is her husband. And the man does not want to do anything with you when you are tense. So at the end of the day, the man will just go and sleep in another room. Then mama will call in the morning. The next morning, did it happen? Oh my God, come and hear, scolding. She will tell her all sorts of things and tell her how she is lazy, how she's not a woman enough, how and all of that. And then I'm like, why would you subject yourself to such? It's even a phone call. You don't have to answer the call. I mean, we are not in that. I don't understand. Why would I pick up the phone when I know what you're going to do to me? Then when this woman finishes when mother-in-law is done ranting and reeking and shouting and dumping all of that negativity in her, what do you think happens? She'll carry all the annoyance and the anger, throws it back at her husband, and then they start quarreling, and then they start fighting, and then the wahala will just lose. And this happens every month. When I heard it, I'm like, can't somebody advise this lady? You don't have to take that call. It's simple. You know this person is going to call and disturb your peace of mind. Do not pick your phone. There is no court of law where you'll be judged that you didn't pick your call. So we have to find a way to save ourselves from issues like this, because as far as I'm concerned, there are things that you can manage. Then how far to go in your waiting? That's another topic. Is your spouse in this waiting with you? Because sometimes people are just waiting on their own. The man is not with you, you are waiting. Or the woman is not with you and you're waiting. Are you together in this waiting room? If you are, how long are you planning to wait? What are you planning to do while you're waiting? Because for you to get the support you need, you have to be together. Both of you have to be working together. So if you are married and you are waiting and you're watching this and you are not together, I'm sorry, most times I talk to the men, because let's be real, it's 95% of women, if not more, that are waiting more than the men. Yes, the men are waiting as well, but some men have the option according to them. Like 2 weeks ago or so, I told you about a guy that gave the wife an ultimatum. He said by the end of, I think it was last month, if she didn't have any babies for him, he was going to go out and get some lady pregnant. The society is not going to flog him. Some people might frown at him, but trust me, his family would adopt him, not adopt. The family will encourage him to marry the lady. Once the lady is pregnant, they will tell him to marry her. They will encourage him to bring the baby home. So this happens all the time. So most times it's the woman. So if you're a woman and you are waiting alone, you need to understand, why are you waiting alone? What can you do to help yourself? If your spouse is not 100% with you in the waiting room, you need to understand how far are you willing to do this waiting business. Because if you are on your own, I have heard so many stories. Sometimes people are waiting. The doctors will tell them to come for some kind of test. The man will not go. One of my friends told me how the man refused to go for a test, just to submit sperm for test. He refused. He told her his mother never did that to carry anybody in the family. His father never did that to carry anybody in the family. Why must your case be different? But this woman is waiting. So if there was a problem that the medical people, the medical practitioners would have fixed, they couldn't fix it, or they can't fix it, because the man has refused to submit himself for just test, and they are waiting. So what do you call that? Sometimes they go for the test eventually and they will say he has low sperm count. Oh my God, how dare you say that? In my family, nobody has had that. You have low sperm count, daddy. All you need to do is to take some supplements to boost it. No, they will not. They will give them, they will not take it. They will not even be regular when they decide to do. Then the wife will now be pursuing them up and down with the supplement and water, and they will get angry. Brother, how do you want us to help you? But we are in the waiting room. And we have waited for 3, 4, 5 years. You have not completed any cycle of your treatment, but we are waiting. You get? So this waiting thing, let's define it. How are we waiting? Now, some ladies, they've told them what to do. You say you don't want to do. They say take this supplement. You say you cannot, you don't like medicine, you don't like injection. How do you want to wait and go through this waiting and come out on the other side? So how long do you want to wait this wait? If you have gotten to the point where you have, one person has decided for adoption, the other one says no, I don't want to adopt, but you are waiting. There is no agreement between the two of you, but you are waiting. So the woman cannot proceed to go and do it, or the man cannot, because in some cases the man would even want adoption. The woman will say no. They will laugh at me. They will yab me. They will say I'm not woman enough. Those are the things that are affecting our well-being. You carry stereotypes and put in your head. Like I said it on the first or second episode, I say you are allowing other people to think in your head. You allow them to come inside and be drinking Panadol for your problem. How is that your business? What people will say, I don't want to do this because if I do it, people will say, you are the one putting yourself under unnecessary pressure. You don't need the pressure. So we need to understand that if you're in the waiting room, first of all, as a couple, you have to be together so that you can understand how to take care of yourself, your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, your physical well-being. All of that will mean nothing if you are not together in the waiting room. And if there are things that you have been asked to do as a man or as a woman, the medical practitioners have helped you to an extent that, okay, this is now what we need to do. You have to come into agreement to do it the right way so that you can get your results. We just generally need to be more serious sometimes when we say we're waiting and we're not doing what we're supposed to do. And then if you have to adopt or you have to use a surrogate, don't let that mental wahala of other people's mindset, archaic mindset, I would call it, come and affect you. Because, I mean, what is wrong in getting some help? There's no shame in that. It's like some people who have carried their babies to birth, and then they tell them, the doctors tell them, for this kind of pregnancy is high risk, we don't want to take chances, you would have to go through a cesarean operation, and they will just start throwing fits. I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that, my God did not promise me, my pastor did not do it, my this, that. I've had a case of a woman who was even ready to have a baby. She was ready she got to the hospital. She was under she was already dilated for how, I can't remember how many cms. She got to the hospital, but the babies were, I think it was one baby, and the baby was already a breech, and the doctor said, we cannot ask this woman to push. She has to undergo an operation. And the husband refused to sign. He said in his family nobody had ever done that. He called his mother first, and mama said no, nobody is bringing operation baby to her house, and he refused to sign. The lady almost died in the hospital. If you meet medical practitioners and they tell you what they go through, especially the general hospitals, you sometimes when you get to the hospital and the way they behave, we are pissed at how they behave. I think it's part of what they experience from people like you and I. When people get there, the kind of things that they see, so they generally think that everybody is unserious. This man refused to sign. He walked away from the hospital. He said that is not going to happen. Your wife is about to die with a baby and you don't want to sign. I think the lady had to call her older brother or someone to come and absorb the risk, and signed and paid all the money, and they got the baby out. So my question was, now whose baby is that? Are they still going home together? I mean, we need to wake up. People need to wake up. Things are changing, the world is changing, and things are moving on. There are options available to us, and the only way we can move on or do that is when we access information and we are ready with an open mind to change. Don't remain in 1829 and be operating in 2022. So many things have changed. So many thoughts have moved past where they used to be. So many mindsets have gone beyond where they used to be. The people you think care about you so much that you're worried, what would they say? Trust me, they are not thinking about you. Especially in the Nigeria we live in today, they are thinking about the cost of garri and other stuff. Nobody is thinking about you. Nobody is coming to judge you. If they are judging you, let them even judge you behind. What's your business when you have your baby? So loosen up and let go of all of those stereotypes that are keeping us behind, because we have options, and the more we open ourselves to such options, the lesser crowded the waiting room will be. Okay, all right, so that's all I have for you today from this episode, and I hope I'm going to be with you again. Please do not miss the next episode. Here is how it's going to be. First of all, you type right now, tell us everything you have, at least one thing that you have learned from this wonderful episode. I know it's wonderful, yeah. So type it in the comment wherever you're watching us from. Is it from Instagram? Is it from Facebook? Or Zoom? Wherever you're hearing this from, listening or watching this from, even on YouTube, when you start watching, type what you have learned. 1 or 2 or 3 points, just drop it there for other people to benefit from. And please share. Do not allow this to just be for you. Let other people come in and understand what's happening. Teach and tell them what we are doing, because we are here to stay. Because next week we're coming back to you, next week Friday. It will be another wonderful episode, and that next week Friday we're going to be talking about another topic. I think I have the topic here. Fix your finances. Yes, that's what I'm talking about next week. So do not miss next week's episode. Share this one. Talk to everyone you know about it. If you have not joined our Facebook, our YouTube community, please go to our YouTube community. Join in that channel. Just subscribe. And also try to share the information with other people. From me to you is good night. God bless you. Do not forget, God gives everyone children. He is the giver of children. Children are a gift from God, and He gives everyone and anyone He chooses to give when He chooses to give. And sometimes God chooses other options, something different than what you are expecting. However He chooses to give you these children, take them, be grateful, enjoy them, and thank Him for it. Good night. God bless you. Love you guys. Bye.